Get ready with me while we talk about the psychology of familiarity, or the mere exposure effect, and how this could explain why some small creators, or most small creators, struggle to take off, while big creators can kind of post whatever they want and retain a large following. I've got some new makeup here I'm excited to try. Let's go. I'm going to start with this e.l.f. Putty Primer. I've never used it before, but I'm excited to. The Poreless Putty Primer. That's right. Alright, so what is the mere exposure effect? This is a psychological principle or phenomenon where you are more likely to have or develop preferences for items or things that you've seen before, or things just because they're familiar. And that's like regardless of if there's better stuff out there, you're going to develop a preference towards things that you're more familiar with. So this is the psychology of familiarity. And this can be modulated by a few different things. So we'll get into that later when we talk about what we can do about it to try and improve our performance in social media. Maybe you've heard the saying that humans are creatures of habit, and this is just that in action, or I guess this would be the reason that saying exists. And this effect is ingrained in our lives in every decision we make. There are strong evolutionary and biological reasons for its existence. You know, evolutionarily, it's advantageous. Hold my hair. It's advantageous for us to keep going towards things that we know are positive or safe. So stimuli that we have concluded in our brain because we've experienced it before and didn't get hurt from it, we know that it's safe or positive or maybe even neutral. That's always safer to do than something that's potentially dangerous. So it could be disadvantageous to do things, find yourself in situations, or come across stimuli that could be potentially dangerous. So there's an advantage to this evolutionarily. And biologically speaking, our brains are wired for efficiency. So anything that takes less processing, you know, theoretically is what we're going to go for. And if we've experienced something before, I think the idea is that it would take less processing. So your brain's going to kind of push you towards that thing that you've experienced before. I'm going to be trying this foundation today. I've never tried it before. If you have tried it and it's good, let me know in the comments. I mean, I guess I'll tell you by the end if I like it, but it's really, really liquidy. So that's not the only neurological aspect to this. I mean, there's also like reward systems and structures in our brains that would benefit as well from repeated exposure to positive or safe stimuli. So this would be pretty hard to overcome, like avoiding the psychological aspect of familiarity. You know, the mere exposure effect, that's what this called, is hard to distance yourself from. My word. I have my skin prep done and I used the Bioma stuff. Bioma Hydrating Milky Moisturizer and Serum. Let me get a sponge. See if we can tap this in better. So anyway, back to the psychology of familiarity and the mere exposure effect. It's not just that we prefer the same old, although, you know, maybe we do in some situations, like my preference to rewatch Twilight or Pitch Perfect over and over again, but research actually shows that this effect is more robust when it's a novel stimulus that still has an old prototype or something very familiar about it. And that's called the beauty in, what's it called? The beauty in averages effect. I don't know why I couldn't think of averages. And I think that totally makes sense when we're thinking about social media, right? That's why we like new content, new videos, but it also explains why, you know, somebody who is bigger or has a larger following, you've probably seen their face before, and their content is more likely to be liked and engaged with, and then obviously continuously distributed, no matter kind of like what is posted. So there's the novelty in what they're posting, but there's the familiarity in who they are. But it doesn't have to be that. We can see this with trends as well. We keep continuously seeing like the same trends over and over again. Also in editing styles, posting, the way things are posted, that kind of thing. We see it all throughout. You know, it's not just one aspect of it that fits this criteria. Okay, coming in close so you can see my skin. I don't know. It didn't cover very much at all. And it's kind of like sitting a little bit strangely on my skin. Let's see if it sinks in. We'll see. Anyway, now I do want you to keep in mind that this isn't, you know, the explanation for all of this. There's algorithmic changes and things to consider, but it's not even the whole psychological story. I mean, it's not even all of the potential psychological explanations for, you know, why small creators have a hard time blowing up and why large creators get to stay large despite what they post. I mean, you could consider things like internal validation seeking, or the evolutionary advantage to be closer or feel closer to someone with resources, and perceived status is a resource. So in social media, at times somebody with a large following would have perceived status. I'm so sorry, I just realized my mic was just sitting in front of me, not on. Hopefully the front half of this video hasn't been too bad audio quality, because I'm not going to redo it. I've already made this video like 3 times. Anyway, let's keep going. So what can be done about this? You know, are there ways to mitigate this biological drive causing the mere exposure effect? Or are we all just kind of like doomed? We're not doomed. We can talk about some ways, some things that we could try to implement. These are all going to be research-based. Everything I'm talking about today is research-based, but these are all going to be research-based. I will link the studies that I'm talking about or taking this information from in the description box so you can read about it yourself. But keep in mind, you know, there's no guarantee. I mean, I'm not in control of the algorithm, but this is all useful information to keep in mind, I think. I just want to say the Tarte, unfortunate name, the Tarte Shape Tape Creamy Concealer is real good. She's real good. I know she's like pushed all over social media, being sold everywhere. I'm not selling her to you here, but she's very good. Okay, item number 1 that you could try. Being happy, spreading joy, trying to make the person on the other side of the screen happy. See, the mirror exposure effect is modulated by mood, specifically by being in a happy mood. So people who are in a happy mood are less likely to seek out that familiar preference compared to people who are in a bad mood. So theoretically speaking, if you can make the other person happy, then they would be more likely to allow you to, they would be more likely to, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Theoretically, if you can make the person on the other screen, the other side of your screen happy, then maybe they'll give you the opportunity to become that next preferred familiar stimulus. Can you see the like splotchiness of that foundation? It also, look, can you see? It doesn't match my neck. I was afraid it would be too dark. I'm very, very pale. Okay, item number 2 that you could try is posting more. I mean, it's called the mirror exposure effect. So the more that you could post, the more that you can increase your chances of being seen. Theoretically, the better chances you would have at becoming that familiar stimulus that they would seek out and prefer. I know that advice is said all the time, post more consistently, and I typically think people are talking about the algorithm directly, but there is a psychological, you know, scientific like reason to believe that there's more to that. Ooh, blend, girl. That's a Rare Beauty blush, by the way. Rare Beauty and a Hope, I think. Yeah. I knew it was too much as I was putting it on, but I did it anyway. The Milani Cream Blush in the shade Hey Honey. Number three you could try would be to try to grab their attention. So this effect is also modulated by selective attention. So if you can garner their attention in the first second before they can scroll away from you, you could potentially increase your likelihood of becoming their next preferred familiar stimulus. I don't know why I keep like trying to think of that word and losing it every time I go to say it. I'm going to stop with the base here. I'm going to do simple eye look today. I'm just going to do some gel liner in purple. This is from Essence in the shade Berry Berry. Can you see? It's pretty. It's like a purpley eggplant bronzy color. The fourth thing you could try is using emotion and storytelling. Seems, like, duh, of course I want to capture their attention and use emotion, but, I mean, it's true. Why? Because the mere exposure effect is also modulated by emotional state, like anxiety, for example. Okay, I'm going to take this palette they don't even make anymore and matte out my eyes because they are creasing from the concealer, and also put just a little bit of nudie in my crease. So I mentioned validation a little bit earlier, and this is something to keep in mind as well. So humans seek out validation constantly. I mean, either consciously or subconsciously. This is like a basic pillar of social psychology. A really strong evolutionary reason for this. So if you think about, I mean, even nowadays, but all of human history, if you could be closer to someone who had resources. What am I talking about? No, I'm right. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, if you can be closer to someone who has resources, then you are safer, theoretically, right? You would think that those people might help you out, or you could be able to get those resources for yourself by being close to them. And validation is basically this extended. It's like akin to this. So if I see you and there's something about you that validates me, and you are receiving perceived resources, whether that's, notoriety, money, success, fame, whatever resources, we're talking psychological science here, then that means I could also receive those resources. So you validating me is making me feel safe. It's making me feel good. And that's something to keep in mind when talking about this, because potentially you could validate someone and become that safe stimuli for them, right? Now, keep in mind, I could probably talk about this for a long time, and there's lots of other rabbit holes that we could dive into. Again, this is not the end-all be-all of explanations here. I didn't even get into anything like data analytics or algorithm or delve any deeper into any of this psychological stuff. This is just a light-hearted conversation about it, but I do think it's interesting. I think there's things to be learned from here that we could try implementing into our channels. I know that I'm going to be trying to implement these things into my small channel, and if you're watching this and you take this to implement to your social media or anything that you're doing, I would love if you'd come back and comment and let me know how that's going. We can chat about it, I did end up dipping into Cashmere Bunny. It's a little bit deeper brown right here on this outer portion of my upper lid. There. I'm going to do my eyebrows real fast. I'm going to be trying this Essence Lash Without Limits, the tubing mascara. I'm excited to try it. I just finished this one from Polite Society. Oop. And it's really good. I liked this one a lot. It did dry out in the tube, but I had it for quite a while before I did that, so I liked it a lot. I thought it gave me really nice volume. And I will come in close so you can see my lashes. Well, here they are now. Okay. This eye I did second, and you can tell because this eye is real cakey. You see it? I think there's a learning curve. This is a tubing mascara I'm not used before. And I think I should have cleaned the brush off more. So I don't know about that. As for the psychology part of this, I think I'm going to stop there because I could keep going forever. But I do want to talk about, this channel. So I have my master's degree in experimental psychology and I specialized in behavioral neuroscience. I'm very passionate about psychology and the study of human behavior and understanding why we do what we do as humans. And I'm also very passionate about psychological communication, science communication in general. And so these are things I'm very excited to talk about. I also love beauty content. Like I've dreamed about making beauty content since I was a teenager. So getting to combine these two worlds and in my own channel is just so exciting for me. So if you also feel that way, then please feel free to subscribe and engage in the comments if we can chat about it. I'm so happy to be here and really excited. Hold on, I'm gonna do my lip liner and I can't do it while talking. This is the Essence Stay lip liner. Mine's broken, but I love the shape. If you have thinner lips and you need something more sharp, this one is really nice. It's really defined. Anyway, I don't know how people put it on really pretty. Anyway. So I want to consider this my beauty and brains channel. If you have topic ideas of things you want to hear about or psychological phenomenons or things you've heard about that you want to hear more about while getting ready with me and getting to talk about makeup as well, please let me know. I'm all for ideas. I have 2 coming up that I'm really excited about. One for Valentine's Day and another one that is going to be more beauty encompassing, and I'm really excited. So I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye! I wanted to show the finished look with my hair down, not touching the mic. Nothing too fancy. I didn't even do much eyeshadow, but she's dewy, she's pretty. I like it. Okay, bye.